Our story begins one evening in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Inside a modest home, Alex Carver hurriedly assembles an emergency kit, methodically packing essentials. Among the items, he includes a peculiar object wrapped in newspaper. Outside, a car pulls up, carrying three intimidating men who shout Alex's name, clearly looking for him. Meanwhile, the next day, Ronan Carver, an MMA fighter, is having a rough time in the ring, losing yet another match. Afterward, during a medical checkup, his coach berates him for his lack of effort, accusing him of not caring about victory, sticking to shady underground fights, and living like a drifter. Frustrated, the coach pays Ronan and storms off. As Ronan checks his phone, he notices a cryptic voicemail from his father. The message instructs him to return home immediately and to arrive at the building on Sunday at precisely 6:19 p.m. His father's voice sounds unnervingly robotic, adding to the oddity of the situation. This is especially strange because Ronan and Alex haven't spoken in 2 years, making the sudden contact even more puzzling. Intrigued and unable to reach his father after multiple calls, Ronan decides to head home, unsure of what awaits him. Ronan uses his old keys to enter his childhood home, but doesn't find his dad. Instead, he finds his younger sister, Beatrix, a college student. She explains that their dad moved out a few months ago, and she hasn't seen much of him since their mom passed away. Both siblings receive the same strange message from Alex, which they agree is odd. Together, they search the house for clues. In the garage, their neighbor Harry shows up. Harry, a public defender who has a crush on Beatrix, mentions seeing Alex around but never speaking to him. He also recalls the men shouting outside the house the previous night. When Ronan and Beatrix check the trunk, they find Alex's emergency bag. Their dad always kept this bag ready for sudden trips due to his work, which kept him away from home often. Inside, they find survival gear like a knife, a flashlight, and most intriguingly, a mysterious black sphere that lights up and beeps when Ronan presses a button. The newspaper wrapped around the sphere has an unusual headline: Clinton assassinated, Gore takes oath of office. Harry suggests that Ronan and Beatrix report their father's disappearance to the police. He introduces them to his friend Captain Stone, who sympathizes but explains there's no evidence of foul play, so he can't do much. However, he promises to keep an eye out for Alex and directs them to the abandoned building mentioned in Alex's message. The three, Ronan, Beatrix, and Harry, go to the building and find it just as empty as Alex described. Inside, Ronan spots a paper bag labeled Dragon Burger, a brand that doesn't exist in their city. Harry tries the elevator, but it doesn't work. The walls are covered in strange graffiti referencing alternate versions of Earth, like one where the Twin Towers fell on a different date and another where all babies are born as twins. Suddenly, an alarm blares, and the building's lights begin flashing. Alarmed, the group panics and quickly runs out of the building. What they find outside leaves them stunned. The city around them has been completely destroyed by a bomb, while the building remains untouched. It's clear the devastation didn't just happen, as the rubble is covered in plants, suggesting the bombing occurred long ago. As they process this shocking sight, they spot two people walking nearby. Beatrix tries to approach them for help, but instead, the strangers pull a gun and warn them to stay away. Before things escalate further, a patrol truck appears and opens fire on the strangers. Panicked, Ronan, Beatrix, and Harry retreat into the building, where the armed men don't dare follow. Inside, they decide to climb the stairs but find the way blocked after the 7th floor. Instead, they enter one of the rooms, where Harry shares a wild theory. The graffiti on the walls might be true, and the building could be a portal to alternate Earths. Their suspicions are confirmed when a fourth person suddenly appears in the room. Her name is Polly, and she begins explaining what she knows about the building, though she uses slang that confuses them. Polly reveals that the building is vast and has multiple entry and exit points, leading to different versions of Earth. The building shifts between realities every 36 hours, Polly explains. If someone leaves the building, they must return before the next jump, or they'll be stranded in a random universe forever. No one knows exactly how many Earths exist, but many believe that every possible version of reality is out there. Polly reveals she comes from one of these alternate Earths and has been traveling between them for a long time. Her main advice for surviving in dangerous worlds like this one is simple: stay hidden and avoid drawing attention, or you won't survive. The group decides to rest and wait for the next jump. However, their plans are interrupted when they're ambushed by an armed patrol. The soldiers, led by a man named Tinker, capture them and load them onto a truck, taking them to meet the leader of the local settlement. As they enter the settlement, Harry spots someone who looks like his mom, but doesn't get a chance to speak to her. The leader of the settlement turns out to be an alternate alternate version of Captain Stone. He warns them to stay away from the building, calling it dangerous. Polly steps in, trying to convince Stone that they're just confused travelers. However, their cover is blown when Harry accidentally calls him by name. Suspicious, Tinker accuses them of being a threat, comparing them to someone who came out of the building before and brought the nuke that destroyed the city. When the group fails to answer basic questions about the world they're in, Stone allows Tinker to interrogate them. Harry and Polly are locked in a cage, while Ronan and Beatrix are separated and restrained in another room. Beatrix is handcuffed to a chair and Ronan to a pipe. Angry and desperate, Ronan starts yelling and trying to break free by shaking the pipe violently. To calm him down, Beatrix reminds him of their mother, hoping to stop his outburst. Beatrix asks Ronan why he left after their mom passed away. Ronan admits he left to protect her from himself. Hurt and frustrated, Beatrix scolds him for abandoning her, leaving her to take care of their dad alone. Their argument is cut short when Tinker enters the room. Beatrix tries to win Tinker over by acting friendly, but he quickly sees through her. Still, he answers her questions. Tinker explains that he's in charge of building and fixing things in the settlement and occasionally performs surgeries. However, his true passion is electronics. He also reveals that the nuke that destroyed New York City killed his wife and daughter, and that he's since built a nuke of his own. Driven by his need for revenge, Tinker shows them security footage from a camera outside the building. To Beatrix's shock, she recognizes the person in the video. It's their father, Alex. Realizing they might know something, Tinker begins his interrogation. Wielding a gun he's modified to work with any type of bullet, he threatens to shoot Ronan if Beatrix doesn't answer his questions. However, his questions focus on her dad and the building, things she has no knowledge of. Frustrated, Tinker presses the gun under Ronan's chin. Thinking quickly, Beatrix distracts Tinker by saying she'll talk. When Tinker turns to her, Ronan takes the opportunity to use an MMA move to knock him down. Ronan then breaks free from the pipe and grabs Tinker's keys to unlock his and Beatrix's restraints. As Tinker regains consciousness and tries to activate his bomb, Ronan knocks him out again with a solid punch. The siblings take his gun and escape the room. Meanwhile, back at the cage, Polly is flirting with Harry. Harry isn't sure if Polly's flirting is serious, but their conversation is cut short when Ronan and Beatrix arrive to rescue them. The group manages to knock out the patrol's caretaker and steal a car to escape. Meanwhile, Stone and his men discover that Tinker has activated his bomb. Tinker warns them not to follow, explaining he's planning to use the bomb to destroy the building. He takes Stone's truck to transport the nuke. The stolen car runs out of gas before the group can reach their destination, forcing them to run the rest of the way. Tinker catches up just as they reach the building. The group rushes inside and anxiously waits for the building to jump. As the bomb's countdown nears its end, Ronan apologizes to Beatrix for everything. When the nuke finally detonates, the building jumps to a new alternate Earth at the exact same moment, safely transporting the group to another reality. As Ronan, Beatrix, and Harry wake up from the jump, Polly appears from a nearby corridor, her hair styled differently. She informs them there's no way to return to their original world. Leading them outside, she reveals that they've landed on a more technologically advanced version of Earth. Despite Ronan's initial assumption, Polly clarifies that it's not the future, since the building can't travel through time. It's the same day in an alternate reality. The group decides to split up to search for clues about Alex. Ronan teams up with Polly, while Beatrix pairs up with Harry. Unbeknownst to them, Tinker has also made the jump and exits the building shortly after they leave. While exploring, Beatrix and Harry stop by an electronics store. Harry spots an incredibly advanced cell phone and impulsively decides to buy it, planning to take it back to their world and sell it to a major company for a fortune. At the electronics store, Harry's attempt to buy the phone using his credit card fails. The clerk asks for a bioscan, and Harry reluctantly scans his hand. To his surprise, it works, and this Earth's version of Harry appears on the screen. Taking advantage of the moment, he memorizes the address displayed just 5 blocks away before leaving with the phone. Moments later, Tinker arrives and purchases all the store's electronics using his own hand scan, which works seamlessly. It turns out this Earth's version of Tinker is extremely wealthy. Tinker stays at the store, taking over the back room to start assembling something with the equipment he's just bought. Meanwhile, Ronan and Polly head toward Ronan's childhood home. During their walk, Polly asks for a refresher on everyone's names and Ronan's relationship with Beatrix. They stop at a food truck selling a local specialty called Crombie's. While they wait for their order, Ronan opens up to Polly, admitting he feels like an outsider in his family because they're all smart, while he sees himself as just a jock. When Ronan tries to pay using the same bioscan method Harry did, it doesn't work. Polly realizes this means the Ronan of this world either doesn't exist or is dead, leaving him unregistered in the system. Ronan and Polly quickly leave the food truck before anyone can call the police. Meanwhile, Beatrix and Harry arrive at this Earth's Harry's apartment, which is luxurious and clearly owned by someone very wealthy. It turns out this version of Harry is a highly successful lawyer, working for a powerful corporation. Inside, Beatrix tries to access the laptop but finds it locked with a password. Harry suggests his own password, Beatrix928, which is her name and birth date. To their surprise, it works. Beatrix begins searching for information about their dad, Alex. She discovers that in this reality, Alex died 3 months ago while working at the mysterious building. The article mentions their mom, who also passed away, as well as Beatrix herself, but there's no mention of Ronan. While Beatrix processes this discovery, Harry browses emails on the tablet of his alternate self. To his shock, he finds evidence that this Harry has been covering up deaths caused by the corporations he works for. Harry contemplates exposing him by sending the emails to the media, but hesitates. Suddenly, the apartment's lights and electronics start malfunctioning. The disruptions are caused by Tinker, who is testing his machine, inadvertently triggering a citywide electrical failure. Realizing it's time to leave, Beatrix urges Harry to come with her. However, Harry stays behind, still torn about whether to send the incriminating emails. In the end, he can't bring himself to do it. Harry changes his mind about exposing his alternate self when this world's Beatrix arrives and reveals they're married. Inspired by her, he decides to do the right thing. After sending the incriminating emails, he leaves the apartment. Meanwhile, Ronan and Polly arrive at Ronan's childhood home. His old keys work here too, allowing them inside. The house is empty, and while having a snack, Ronan shows Polly the strange sphere his dad left him. Polly explains that such advanced technology can only come from the core world, the reality where the building was originally created, though no one has ever been there. Ronan wonders how his dad got it and uses slang Polly had used earlier, but this time, she doesn't recognize it. Exploring the house, they find Ronan's old room, but it's filled with unfamiliar belongings, since he doesn't exist in this reality. Polly calls it parallel universe déjà vu. As they talk, Ronan opens up about his past. He admits he had a bad temper and recalls a tragic incident. One day after a truck ran their car off the road, he angrily pulled the driver out of the truck to attack him. When his mom tried to stop him, she was accidentally struck by another car, leading to her death. Crying, Ronan admits he blames himself for his mom's death and regrets leaving his sister to handle everything alone, even forcing her to delay college. Polly comforts him, reminding him how strange yet familiar alternate worlds can be. Inspired, Ronan checks the garage and finds his dad's emergency bag in the car trunk. This time, the newspaper inside only contains a message: "Get out." Before they can act, a car pulls up, and the 3 armed men who were searching for Alex the day before now call out for Ronan. The men enter the house, but Ronan manages to sneak up on 2 of them and knock them out. Polly takes down the 3rd man using a taser she picked up from another reality. Polly doesn't recognize the armed men, but reveals she's seen them in other worlds and knows they're dangerous. She urges Ronan to leave immediately. As they make their way back to the building, they spot the other Harry being swarmed by reporters on massive street screens. Once inside, they find Tinker, who is already there with his newly built machine. He explains that he survived the nuke by hiding in the building and is now determined to ring the bell. Tinker believes the building's creator wouldn't have left such powerful technology unattended and suspects they might be on one of the blocked floors. Using his machine, Tinker hacks into the building's system and delivers electrical shocks, causing it to tremble violently. The chaos brings Harry and Beatrix back just in time, and Beatrix holds Tinker at gunpoint, demanding answers. Ronan persuades Beatrix to lower the gun, arguing that letting Tinker finish could provide crucial answers. Tinker intensifies the shocks, and soon the elevator door opens with a chime. To everyone's shock, Alex steps out. He acknowledges Tinker as the first person to ever connect to the building in such a way and tells him to take the elevator if he wants answers about why his Earth was nuked. Without hesitation, Tinker enters the elevator and leaves. Alex then approaches his children while Polly warily keeps her distance. He explains that he's been traveling through worlds for a long time and had tried to shield Ronan and Beatrix from the building's dangers. He reveals that he and their mother weren't originally from the Earth where they raised Ronan and Beatrix. They had settled there to protect their kids and give them a normal life. Alex also delivers startling news. Not all of their mother is truly gone. He urges them to find her and give her the sphere he left with Ronan, explaining that she's the only one who knows how to access the core world. Alex explains that this is crucial because the building's creator is gone and no one is managing it anymore. The upper floors are empty. He reveals that Tinker's machine is the key to starting their search for their mom, who is essential to unlocking the core world. As the elevator doors open again, Tinker returns, calling Alex a liar. Without hesitation, Alex grabs Beatrix's gun and shoots Tinker before walking away. Beatrix tries to follow Alex, but the building's lights begin flickering, blinking, signaling an imminent jump. The group rushes to Tinker's machine, where the screen displays thousands of lines representing possible destinations. Ronan picks one at random, and the building jumps. He, Beatrix, and Harry step outside to explore the new Earth they've landed on. Meanwhile, Polly stays behind and meets two other versions of herself who had been hiding in the building all along. The three Pollys play rock, paper, scissors to decide who will join the group next, even swapping jackets to maintain the illusion of being the same Polly.